अरे यार
Very sweet. Oh, you warmed my heart. It to the point that I can rise up as well. I'll check. मैंने इसका
भगवान आपने ऐसे देखा भगवान बन जाएगी आप क्वेश्चन से
questions निकालने वाला.
Hello, my name is Yani and I'm a makeup artist based out of Bangalore, India.
Hi Yani, great to have you.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being in the show and thank you for the time. First of all, I want to ask that how did you get into the makeup world? How did you start your career?
Okay, so it was destined firstly. Not something that I ever wanted to do. Before I became a makeup artist, I think I was, I was the usual one, dark lipstick, just the kajal, just the eyeliner, just take the compact and I'm fine. So I was not really a makeup person who would try different, eyeshadows. You know how you see in YouTube videos and all of that, there are people who start off, the girls who start off like, 12, 13 and they kind of making their makeup videos and all of that, right? So I was not really like that. I think till my 20s, I definitely was not like that. Also, there's this basic interest that every girl has, right? That they want to do makeup, basic. So you start off and you find out you're not really doing too well. So you set up like, okay, itna hi karenge. Usse zyada, let's not go ahead and try more. So I was a voice and accent trainer in a BPO.
Okay.
And then things didn't really go well there. I did that for about a couple of years. Then all of a sudden, I kind of like felt I gotta do something. Could be midlife crisis as well. A number of people go through that. So I saw an article in the newspaper and it talked about becoming a makeup artist. So I took one of the biggest risks. I quit my job. I took a loan and I quit my job. Yeah, from the BPO job. Yes. So first I took loan. That's what everybody needs to do if they want to. It's just first of all take the loan and then go ahead and quit your job. And then go ahead and then you are in deep waters. You kind of like a learning. You don't really know when the next work is going to come in. So you kind of like, you learn to kind of like swim. Not really just kind of like, not everything is like, your road is not paved in, like, not ready. So you just kind of figure it out. So I think slowly we moved forward. Slowly I and my team, that's why I'm saying we slowly moved forward. We kind of like saw a lot of ups and downs, of course. So you have to be ready. Like, sometimes a lot of money would come in, sometimes nothing would come in, depending on how the market is. So yeah, that's how my journey has been. And it has been about 12 plus years now that I'm into makeup industry. And by God's grace, things have been good.
How did you learn makeup?
How did I learn? I enrolled myself.
Okay.
I have done about a couple of courses till now. Lot of hairstyle courses, a lot of makeup courses. With each particular person, you learn something new. They have different tricks. And you kind of pick that up and you build on it. So yes, that's what helped me. I am not a kind of person who's self-taught. I can never do, you cannot go ahead and say, let's just go ahead and just figure out. I like to go ahead and enroll myself. I like to go ahead and learn from the guru and then go ahead and build on it. That's something I like to do, although, different people, different ways of learning. A lot of people just kind of like see something on YouTube videos and kind of just try, but this is how I took my journey. I decided to be under somebody and then learn. So that's what I did.
Who are the people that inspire you the most?
In the makeup industry, of course. Jeffree Star, if at all you see his videos, he's like the queen. He is just like beautiful. He's shaved his eyebrows, he'll go for pink hair and green hair and like just lovely. That's one of my favorite makeup artists. If you go ahead and see the kind of makeup that I kind of like on people, I love what Deepika Padukone goes ahead and does. Kim Kardashian, have you seen her face? Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. I like Priyanka Chopra as well, of course. Bobbi Brown is another makeup artist. I mean, I love the way that skin kind of like, really, just starts glowing, just gives that amazing coverage. So, yes, in fact, I even like Paris Hilton. I even like her face. I even like what she goes ahead and does to her face. Who else do I go ahead and really like? So yeah, so these are a couple of people.
We are keeping aside makeup industry.
Okay.
From your personal point of view, who you think you get inspired from most?
Like from a personal perspective.
Yeah. Like for me, it's Steve Jobs.
Oh, like that.
Yeah, like that.
As I said, Jeffree Star. Oh my God, that's for me, personal and professional life has got like, it's got mixed up, right? Because that's what you always do. So even from a personal aspect, you go ahead and think of the gurus and go, get so inspired. So I wouldn't really go ahead and say personal and I wouldn't say, oh my mother, oh my this, even though there are definitely. Oh my God. I would be gobsmacked. I wouldn't really know what to go ahead and do because you are going to get so shocked. I mean, you're going to get so intimidated by his presence because he has a very strong aura. He's got this strong personality. It's like an Amitabh Bachchan walking into a room and you wouldn't really know what to do. Yeah. So I think for me, that's the name that is going to go ahead and, all my bones will start shaking. So yeah, Jeffree Star, hands down.
I have set up a few questions for
Sure.
you. Yeah. What were the ups and downs throughout the journey of your makeup career?
Well, sometimes you have no work. So sometimes you just have 50 rupees in your pocket. Yeah. Sometimes you'll have a lot. Yeah. Sometimes you are going to get really down and upset because your makeup kit doesn't really have the best of the brands. That can happen. And sometimes you have to learn to rediscover yourself. For example, this is all I have. Let me go ahead and see what best I can go ahead and do. The lows also can be wherein, your clients will break your spirit. They are bridezillas, right? So however beautiful your work might just be, they will go ahead and give you a very tough time. There are people who will, expect a lot from you. They will push you.
That's kind of good.
It has a plus and a minus.
Yeah.
You learn through the challenge, but at that point in time, and for a couple of days, you're going to be very broken. You will start questioning your moves. You'll start questioning, is this what I want to go ahead and do? Although you will hear a lot of people who will go ahead and say, this is what I was destined. I mean, it's always been, but deep down, everybody has a low story. Everybody. So it's not been easy and it's never going to be easy because you're going to see highs, you're going to see lows and lows.
Those are typically more than the highs.
Definitely. There'll be times wherein you're going to be up there for a couple of years and then you're going to kind of see, well, nothing's really happening. So then what do? You can't just quit. A lot of people can quit, but rather than quitting, you got to go ahead and see what other things that I can go ahead and do to sustain myself, to keep my head above the waters. So yes, there are lows.
So what is the lowest point in your career?
Not
What was the lowest?
Itna lows we are going in and talking about. Um, lows. Well, there are times that demonetization killed me.
Okay.
That was something that really hit me hard, because earlier people won't really bargain. They had so much of money. Let's say maybe black money or whatever, right? They had so much of money, they were ready to go ahead and spend, not question why you're charging so much. And after demonetization, people started thinking. They started working in a budget. They became budget friendly. So they started going ahead and bargaining to the point that, for example, I'm just saying, I'm quoting, for example, if you charge 30 or 40, they would start off with something as small as like 5K, 10K, right? And they would start from there, and it would kind of like go ahead and mess you up, saying that, this is not what I have come to, right? And then you would be, then you would have your self-respect or a basic ego to kind of like, there's a tussle going in as to what should I go ahead and do next, right? Because sometimes we also go through something like, शेर को कितनी भी भूख लगे पर वो घास नहीं खाएगा. Right? Sometimes you go ahead and feel, it's like, no, I'm not going to go ahead and do it. But yes, in my lows, there have been times where I had to reduce my rates, sometimes more than even 50%. So there are lows, and demonetization I wasn't really happy with, nor am I happy with till date that it happened. So yes, that's what hit me personally, yes.
Okay, and then what were your greatest achievements till date? Like, you were in your highs.
Highs have been wherein, you're professionally being the most sought after. You don't have a competitor to go ahead and touch you. You have about 5-6 makeup artists working under you. You have about 5-6, hairstylists who are under you, right? And, and then you can meet up with all budgets, all clients who have different budgets. Right? So I think having a big team, definitely, I think that's the best high that any makeup artist can go ahead and get. Have a beautiful makeup studio, have people walking in and only talking about makeup, right? And a lot of artists, so everybody's at your at your beck and call, basically. I mean, the lack of finding better words. So yes, this is becoming a very candid chat, isn't it? Yeah. So I think that's one of my best, the highest peak, or one of my greatest achievements. I wouldn't really go ahead and say, I worked with so and so. Of course, I mean, celebrity artists always get to go ahead and work with some of the biggest names. So I worked with the who's and the who's of cricket industry. I worked with Rahul Dravid. I worked with Anil Kumble, Virat Kohli. So now that gives you, that's like that you are in a daze. So I think, yeah. So I even, when we're talking about that, I even went to the Chinnaswamy Stadium, and we were doing makeup in the visiting cricket team's, room. And nobody has kind of entered there, right? So you go in and you see these frames of Pakistani legends and all of that put in, and the home team's dressing room wherein, you have Kapil Dev's photograph and frames and all of that. That gives you so much of a high, and you are working on those faces, right? And Anil Kumble, Rahul Dravid, or Virat Kohli for a magazine shoot. So that's a high. So every time you work with somebody like that, it definitely gives you, you feel, yay, a pat on the back. Yeah, you did really well. So yes, that.
Okay, moving on to the next question.
Sure.
As a beginner, how did you manage to practice your things?
That was difficult. So somebody who has sisters or mothers, it's easy for them, or has a lot of neighbors and friends or whatever who would just come in and you could practice. But I didn't have a friend like that at my disposal. So those days I had a boyfriend of mine who I would make sit and I would try makeup on him. And of course, whichever classes that I went to, if there are 4 or 5 of us women, then we would work on each other's faces. But yes, that's a very good question. It's difficult.
Because
It's difficult.
Everyone starting as a beginner has to figure out how will I practice.
That's one of the biggest things. It's very difficult. So I had to work on, because I had a lot of male friends. So I somehow kind of like encourage them, please come. I mean, I just have to practice, right? On women, it's easy because you do their faces and they'll be happy and they'll walk out, they'll go for dinner, they'll go for a movie with like nicely done up faces. But if you don't have female friends or if they are busy, then what do you do? So for me, male friends.
Doing it on our own face.
It's got a different technique altogether because I am doing it on someone, so my movement of the hand is very different. And when you do it on yourself, the movement of the hand is very different. Yeah, so that never helps you. You'll get an idea. Yes, there is a trial and error and stuff like that. You try, but not always you're going to succeed. Then much later, I found out a trick wherein for eye makeup, you could always make an eye, in your hand, and then kind of like try and doing the shading, etc. This part of yours has possibly a little bit of the same skin finish. Let's say, of course, this is more sensitive. But when I started teaching, and I found students who had the same problem as to who do we practice on, I started telling them to practice here, because then the same hand movement at least comes into practice, right? And you can correct them as well. So that helped much later. But when I was learning, this idea was not given to me. Much later. So I just stand upon. Yeah, I think I saw it somewhere maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Then how did you manage to stay on the right track?
That's a difficult question, isn't it? How did I manage to be on the right track?
Because there are so many ups and downs. People think that I should quit. How did you manage to?
That's a good question. Never thought about that. But I think sometimes it's prayers as well. You kind of just pray and you kind of just, hope. So you constantly hope, you constantly have the faith, and you need to become a very good money manager. So I think this entire journey taught me to be a good money manager. And the better I became with handling money, it gave me confidence. So I could plan better. When people have salary towards the end of towards the starting of their month, it's easy for them because you set up aside some for your EMI, for example, or for your rent or for your maids or whatever. It's easier, but here you're kind of like lost. So I would say becoming a better money manager helped me. A lot of prayers, as I said. And you continue to have the faith, you need to continue to have the hope, you need to kind of like, keep telling yourself a lot of pep talk, and that helps. But yeah, you're gonna sail through. We always somehow sail through, yeah.
It was very inspiring.
Yeah, inspired me as well.
What do you do other than makeup? I mean, your hobbies and interests?
Good question. I sometimes read a book. Sometimes I make some chocolates. Sometimes I make, I make chocolates. And I make handmade soaps. I sometimes sit and decorate the candles. I sometimes paint, not necessarily, but sometimes, that relaxes me. And it's not really a hobby, but what I find very therapeutic is folding my clothes and keeping it. Anything to do with clothes. Yeah, I love washing them. I love, folding or keeping them in the cupboard, to the point that my friends, the moment they say, hey, what you doing? So I said, no, I'm just doing my chores. It's like, let me guess. You are arranging your cupboard. So it's weird, but that I'm speaking about that in the hobby section. But yeah, but that's what I kind of do. Yeah, very therapeutic. Just the way that, painting or, making something, like I grill, I cook well. So it comes in the same section, same lineup. Yes.
Nice. Rapid fire.
So how much time do I have in the rapid fire? Like कुछ 1 सेकंड 2 सेकंड
10 seconds.
10 सेकंड में रैपिड फायर नहीं होता. फिर भी बोलो.
ठीक है. You have 5 minutes to do a makeup. What would you do that makes the most difference?
Eye makeup.
Just that.
If at all, it makes a whole lot of like, you're asking like in 5 minutes, what's the most that I'm gonna do, which is kind of like gonna poof it up, right? So if something that I'm going to concentrate on is always gonna be the eye makeup. Yeah, I mean, that's gonna show up. 5 minutes that I have, I'll do the basics, I'll do the foundation and everything else. But let's say if a minute I'm keeping for foundation, a minute for contouring and highlighting, then I'm gonna spend my 3 minutes only on eye makeup. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Next question. Skincare routine that you follow.
So I scrub my face, which everybody does. I scrub my face. I spend time. I have invested in some good products for my, like an eye primer that I go ahead and use, and I have a specific massage cream for under eyes. A lovely, nice moisturizer to kind of like, I spend time just going ahead and massaging my face. I just do these couple of things, but then I did start doing something with tomato and honey, and a little bit of milk and that kind. It actually gives a very nice glow to your face, and it starts detanning your face, quite a lot. So I sometimes to kind of find
in your skin.
And plus it gives a nice glow.
Yeah.
It gives beautiful glow. Another friend of mine told me that stop using soaps or face wash or everything completely, and just wash your face with milk powder.
Milk powder.
Just milk powder. And she is 58 plus, and her skin has got the nice firmness and a lovely glow, to it. So I've still been contemplating, because I'm like, I am using milk powder that's supposed to go to the babies, onto it. So I have still not got around that, but I think I'll eventually go, eventually I'll go ahead and try. It's a very good tip. It's a very good tip. I mean, I haven't heard this from anybody.
You better try it and...
I will. I'm going to send you pictures. Before and after. Yes.
Next question. It was supposed to be rapid fire.
Yeah, but we kind of like started discussing the whole thing.
Common makeup mistakes that women make.
They do a really bad job with contouring, some of them. And, I kind of like see that sometimes they don't really understand the, your color tone, and they use, ghastly colors like blue and green. I mean, it's okay if at all you're going out, for a nice chilled out party, and you're kind of like dancing around for a club and all of that. But sometimes I've even seen women go for an afternoon party, or go, for afternoon lunch or whatever, and wear these weird, colors, right? Another thing that I've kind of like found that they don't spend time in even checking out as to what is the right foundation shade. What they buy, whatever your retail lady is going ahead and giving you. So sometimes they turn gray. Yeah, after some time you turn gray, if at all you're not using your right foundation color. So I think women should just spend time, like do a little homework, and then we should be fine.
Next question. How do you prepare dry and oily skin for foundation makeup application?
So you kind of like use, specific creams that are made for these skin types, different toners as well. So there are things in the market that are like, this is only for dry skin, which has got heavy moisturizing bit, and for the oily skin, and they have moisturizer which is minus the oil. So it does moisturize the skin, but it doesn't go ahead and let the oil bit of it, enter into pores. you can use different primers as well. You can use different toners as well. So there are products which are specific for these two skin types. So we use that.
Okay. That was it.
Yay! That is it. Okay. Thank you so much, darling.